Holy moly. It has been quite a night tonight, guys. It's very early in the morning, actually, for me. Just got finished with a big conversation. Gideon, Sneeko, Keemstar, Mr. Beer, Cybernoop, a lot of peeps. It was a lot of fun. But of course, in the middle of that, excuse me, Dennis, we're all debating high value mail stuff. It'll be up eventually if this is up first. Anyway, course, Dennis Steph Noodles, for whatever reason, decided to have a meltdown and then go on an unhinged rant in his comment section about me. Now I've reviewed this on stream, but I kind of want to go more in depth because I found more stuff. This guy's crazy, man. Now here's the thing. What's so interesting is that when he came back, he got unbanned. I was like, oh, good, good for him. I'm happy he's back. But I feel like this is going to be kind of an issue when it comes to his mental health. I feel like he's going to end up engaging in like constant, like, Twitter drama, and it's going to cause him to have an issue. And here we go. Here we are. He's arguing with like everybody in the comments after he posts something, and he's just not getting the reception that I think he expects to get. I guess people aren't really feeling him. I don't really know, but he seems to have done quite a bit of damage to his credibility. But anyway, let's just read this. I'll read my response after. So anyway, this all kind of starts from a post that he made about Elon Musk. Sorry, give me like 2 seconds. Yeah, here it is. Elon Musk welcomed ninth baby and third baby mama 1 week ago. Says he's doing his part to prevent underpopulation crisis. Also, Elon Musk, I haven't had sex in ages. Okay, whatever. I will say that we don't really have an underpopulation crisis. A collapsing birth rate is my biggest danger to civilization. We don't really have that either. In our country, we do have a decline or an aging population, right? So the population is getting older because we're having like fewer babies, right? But in America, we can offset that by immigration. It's really not a big deal. People who tend to have, more money, women that are in careers tend to wait longer to have kids. People tend to not necessarily want to have kids, and it's high volume in our country. People, they're happy with their lives for the most part, and it's a big responsibility. It's also very expensive. It's a problem we have as well. There's a lot of things. Either way, this doesn't really matter. Anyway, somebody talked about IVF treatment. I don't really care about any of this, but anyway, this is what's real. This is what's relevant. So someone says my brother in Christ literally said to himself that he did IVF. There's nothing to debate here. OP simply has an agenda. I don't know what that really means necessarily, given the context, but whatever. And then Dennis says, my agenda is to clap your big, bodacious, and juicy MFing cheeks. So very clearly, a lot of really funny humor from Dennis. I can understand humor is subjective, but okay. Anyway, someone says cringe. Then he says, I'm cringe, but you're taking time out of your day to reply to me. That at least makes you as cringe as me. So in essence, that makes you an embarrassment to young boy. He will never like you. I guess that's an embarrassment to young boy. I guess it's young boy. Oh, great. Whatever. Cool. I don't know why he's responding to this person, but okay. Then he says, I own you, H3's lapdog. Then Dennis says, you own nothing. That's why you're on Twitter replying to everyone and anyone. This is my job, but for you, it's a distraction from your miserable reality. Replying to people on Twitter probably isn't really productive for you. You can say it's your job, but okay, you do you, brother. Anyway, this guy just says, Kavos Apapagots, also own you, little brother. So here's where it gets fun. Kavos quit YouTube. I don't know if that's true. Is that true? Did Kavos quit YouTube? Even if he did, like, what does that really matter? Let's see. Kavos' last video is 3 weeks ago. Oh, maybe he did. Okay, cool. Kavos quit YouTube, hasn't posted in weeks. Nobody would know who Papagut is in commentary had I not given him crumbs by doing a debate with the sole purpose of calling him an incel to his face and laughing in his face about it. Meanwhile, you're here sucking their micro peepees. Okay, well, weird body shame. Actually, not that bad. Anyway, anyway, it's not appropriate. So, okay, so first things first. Let's talk about the debate thing. So he says the only reason he did the debate, he says, is with the sole purpose of calling him an incel to his face and laughing in his face about it. Now, first and foremost, if you go to that debate, there's no laughing from Dennis. It is a very embarrassing display for him. I recommend you go watch it. You could literally just Google Papa Gut Dennis. It's really not that crazy. And of course, you can watch it on my channel because, give me the money. You know what I'm saying? Well, no, Papa Gut Deaf Noodles. Sorry. That's better. That's better. Here you go. You can go here. Yeah, so it sounds like he's basically just saying that he never meant any of the conversation that we had. Everything that he said was a lie. He said that he did it just to call me an incel or whatever. I mean, that's funny. This doesn't make you... I just interesting that you think this makes you look good. This, listen, since we had the conversation, it's so interesting because after we had the conversation, I was like, you know what? I felt like maybe it was genuine, but I did feel like a little frustrated. But my wife was like, no, he's lying, 100%. He doesn't mean anything that he says. And wow, my wife's right again. What... I mean, he's literally admitting it. What other... He's just said that he went there to call me an incel and laugh. And it's so funny that he thinks I got upset by the incel thing, and I don't. But I find it really interesting that, like, you... What are you doing? Did you think that this was going to make you look good? You're fighting for your life in your own comment section, brother. Your credibility is gone. And to talk about that, he says that nobody would know who Papa God is in commentary if he didn't give me crumbs. Now, that conversation was rather popular, of course, because this topic, the subject matter was Death Noodles not actually engaging what we were talking about. And if you want to look into that, you can as well. I don't feel like going through and rehashing all that old stuff. But the thing, though, is that, like, I was a content creator before this. I was on YouTube. I mean, excuse me, I was on TikTok. People, I know I say it all the time, I got 2.5 million followers, 2.4 million. I was verified. I was very well respected. I was in commentary. I didn't get my start from any shout outs or anything. I built my way up. And then I made a mistake. And while I don't think I should have been banned, I probably should have got like a temporary ban, like a 1 week, and then maybe lost my verification. The reality is I got banned because my content was getting edgier and my commentary was becoming bad. It was a very brief period, and the fact, though, realistically speaking, the fact that I got banned allowed me to sit back and really reflect on my stuff. And by the time we had the conversation, he wanted to throw my past mistakes in my face, and I tried to explain to him why they were wrong, and he didn't really want to hear it. Because he doesn't care. He just wanted to use it as a way to try to diminish my character because he was having a really rough time in the conversation that I was, like, very calm in, and he was very aggressive in. Because he seems to have, like, a really big anger problem. That's just my observation. But the reality is like, I was popular before you, Dennis, and like I'm not saying this because I'm not saying this to be rude, but like I'm gonna be more popular even after you're gone, and I think that you're very close to being gone. I've been growing slowly, you know, and I don't think it's okay to have ups and downs, but it's weird that you're criticizing me and my content, and of course you get more views than me, but your views have sunk. You went from having like over 100,000 views of videos, and it's slowly going down, and that's because this all started. When did this all start? It seemed to have started after our conversation together. And I'm not sure if you want to try to take credit for deplatforming me in some capacity or platforming me in some capacity. You know, I think that there's probably a little bit more credibility to the fact that I might have had a hand in your downfall at this point, because after that, people were kind of just sad. They were kind of disgusted by you. They realized that, you know, you weren't like this, authority on really anything that you talk about. You don't really have the ability to speak beyond like clickbait videos. You don't really have much depth of thought when it comes to your content, and that's fine. But like, you know, the topic that I wanted to talk about was very serious, and you just didn't care, and people picked up on that, and they could see that. I know you have some people that like really desperately like ride or die. They pretend I manipulated you, but like I was very calm, and I just wanted to listen and talk to you, and you just wanted to scream. And most people who are reasonable minded were like, yeah, that's what happened, and that's why we're here. That's why you're screaming on Twitter about an issue that we had months ago. Where you're basically saying that the whole thing was a lie to you, while I'm on stream with like more like other content creators, like, you know, networking, having conversations, like really trying to have deep conversations about a topic that I would imagine would pretend to care about, at least like high value male stuff, trying to counter that horrible like rhetoric that I think is having a profoundly negative impact on young men. I'm trying to, you know, educate people, but here you are on Twitter flailing around like a kid. So, like, really, when we look at each other, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? You're screaming like a child. I don't know what to tell you. I'm not even trying to be mean. This is just what's happening in front of my eyes. It's embarrassing for you. And you could say you don't care, but realistically, like, it doesn't matter what you think. At the end of the day, like, you're just going to continue. This is just another step in, like, it's just an embarrassing situation for you. You look really bad by most people. It's just sad for you. Whatever. Anyway, here's some comments. The fact that you're serious is so sad. Then Def says, feel bad for me all you want. I'm here living in my dreams, and you're here giving me Twitter engagement, helping my shadow banned account get back. You're probably not shadow banned. Shadow ban might exist, but I think for the most part, it doesn't really exist. I think more than anything else, shadow banning, um, it might exist. I don't think you're shadow banned though. I think that your content's not really engaging to people, and I think that they don't really respect you anymore, and people don't really want to be bothered watching your content or even on Twitter. So this idea that you're shadow banned, and it's just like it just seems like every instance that you exist in is another. Every problem that you seem to be having is everyone else's fault, not yours, and that's kind of like continuation of that. Anyway, ratioed by the way. Then someone said have Kavos didn't quit. Then someone said, "Jesus, dude, good thing I unsubbed. I subbed to you because Ethan said your content was good, and at first I thought so too. But man, you're so petty. You didn't laugh in Papa's face. You embarrassed yourself. It's very different. True. This is pure cat, bro. You should sue him. I don't know what that's about." And someone said, "Not reading all that. I guess it's like a little TLDR, kind of a funny thing." Someone said, "Triggered. Go cry about it." Very good. But it gets a little more interesting. Someone says, "You're actually full of yourself. You did nothing in the Papa debate but embarrass yourself as a grown man," which is absolutely true. You think I'm actually embarrassed? You should be. I would be embarrassed if I acted the way you did, and that's okay. It's okay to be embarrassed. It's okay to be like, I really represented myself poorly. I've been there before. A lot. It happens a lot. Not a lot, but it happens, man. I have something on my tongue. It happens occasionally. Sometimes you have a rough talk. Sometimes you get made to feel a little silly because maybe what you say or think is kind of silly, and then when somebody makes you realize that, you go, "Oh, it happens, man. It's part of life." The fact that you're not embarrassed to me suggests that's one of the reasons why you are on the decline, because you're not self-aware enough to realize what you've done wrong. Anyway, he said, "Do you think if I was embarrassed, I would have continued publishing videos and then increasing the amount of videos I publish every day? That's really what an embarrassed person does. You must live in a parallel reality." Oh, okay. Well, you got to work, right? It's part of your job. Continues on. Someone said, "You should be embarrassed." This shit is said. Says the guy that uses a fake account to talk to me. Your judgment doesn't matter to me. It has zero effect on my life. Well, then you wouldn't respond, but okay. I'm literally living my dreams, and you're here using what's left of your miserable existence trying to milk me for attention. You tell me what's sad. It probably is living his dreams. He's probably making decent money. For how long though? Like, how long do you think this is going to happen? What's the longevity in your platform, do you think, Janice, before you have to get like a real job? Someone says you can't break 100K views on a video. LMAO, you're living nobody's dream. Hey, the dream is real, brother. Someone says, "Quit acting tough. You were on the verge of crying, throwing your fifth fake apology for acting like a lolcow because Papa God said your comedy style isn't funny." That's true. I forgot about that. I said that he wasn't funny. I didn't even say what I said. Maybe the joke you made wasn't funny, and he had a meltdown. He had a meltdown. That was kind of crazy. Kind of embarrassing, honestly. That was a little crazy. You're like a third-rate carbon copy of the soup with the fourth. You must live a sad existence if you think any of what you said holds any meaning to me. LOL, by the way. I appreciate you following me so closely. Make me your lol cow, whatever you want. I give no fucks as long as you keep giving me engagement. That's sad. So he's basically just saying at this point that he doesn't care how he's going to maintain his popularity as long as he maintains it. It sounds like we're going to have this truly does say Keemstar to me. It's a little sad. Okay. Anyway, the sad thing is thinking you own the Ace family with your shanky little voice. I don't know what that means. Your emotional little baby. Engage these nuts in your mouth. Okay, very good. Oh, and you're just a less funny Bo Black's flowing. That's funny. Papa Guy is married and doesn't have hostile views towards women. So how can he be an incel? And your talking point, talking about PPS when your daddy Ethan admitted he couldn't get his. He's talking about PPs. Well, I mean, I wouldn't really go there with Ethan, but I guess I understand what you're saying. Anyway, Dennis decides to come out with this incredible retort. Okay. It says, "Married men are the epitome of being incels." Now, an incel is an involuntarily celibate person who tends to have very negative views of women. I'm happily married to my wife, and I did none of your business, I guess, but we regularly sleep together. We have a very fulfilling sex life together. Very fulfilling. My wife is incredible, and she's the person that educates me on women's issues a lot and her perspective, and she's challenging me constantly, and she's made me a better content creator, right? So, sorry, I'm biased when it comes to the high-value male sphere, because I think that women can provide profound amounts of value to men, and vice versa. But, that's why I think that men and women are equal. Hot take. Anyway, most married people have atrocious sex lives. It's not because you're married that you have a healthy sex life. That's why the insult stung him so much. The insult stung him so much to the point he brought it up. You're probably too young to understand. So I didn't say it. I didn't. I don't understand. He keeps saying that I cared. I brought it up. Talking about like the framing of the video, right? So I talked about priming his video, and he was trying to prepare his audience to think that I'm somebody that like had negative views of women, etc. In our engagement. And I just brought it up. He's like, "Oh, you're upset. I'll take it down." I said, "I don't care. I don't. It doesn't matter that you call me an incel. Like, I don't care about that. I'm married, and I sleep with my wife. And if I didn't, it really wouldn't matter because I don't derive the value of my life through how much sex I have. But I do have it." Like, put him out. Anyway, sorry, I'm not trying to like be weird. Anyway, then he links a fucking study. Average number of times per week married couples make love, according to a 2018 general social survey data on about 660 married people who share details about how often they had sex the past year. 25% had sex once a week. 16 had sex 2 to 3 times per week. 5% had sex 4 times a week. 17 once a month. 19 2 to 3 times a month. 10 hadn't had sex in the past year, and 7 had sex about once or twice in the past year. Wow. So it depends on the week. Maybe once or twice a week, but then sometimes we don't. There's like maybe we'll go without doing it for like a week or two sometimes, and then for whatever reason we just fuck like every day. Isn't that crazy? Not that none of this really any of this matters, but I'm not involuntarily celibate. It's weird to double down on this. Incel usually doesn't just imply like not having, sleeping with somebody. It also implies like negative perspective on women, which I don't have. I mean, anybody who follows my content knows I don't. Yeah, man, this is really pathetic. So somebody says, Def Noodles, what the fuck, my man? Did you really take nothing away from the debate? You were in the wrong there. This really sucks seeing you still act so childish about the whole thing. Come on, bro. Papa Gut was growing a lot before you ever had the debate with him. Knock the ego off. That's true. I was generating my YouTube platform. Well, let me just put these back on. Do this later. Def says, you're funny. I'm saving this tweet so I can laugh at the fact that you actually think I give a flying fuck. You clearly do. You're in these comments. You're fighting for your life. You're the biggest joke, L plus ratio. You're not exactly a self-made creator yourself in that regards. If that's how you view Papa, the same could be said about you. And Kavos and H3. I suppose so. Then someone says Papa Good is such a better content creator than you, so don't try to claim that you're the reason for his success. Have the balls to tag him too, you coward. Yeah, so that's all that. Then Dennis posts this picture here, and I think he's trying to call me fat. And the reason I think that is because this is what it says. This is the Michelin Man. Michelin Man likes to talk tough, but he's soft like a marshmallow. He hides in his mom's house and makes excuses not to go out in public. Michelin Man is an incel. Don't be Michelin Man. So I'm assuming that's about me because he talks about it being an incel, and then he goes on about how I'm an incel, kind of connecting the dots. And I'm also fat. I don't know if you guys knew that. So first and foremost, it's a little funny that Dennis is somebody who pretends to care about particular social topics like body shaming and all this, but then he seems to give up that value the second that he finds no use for it, like in this instance. Now, I actually don't care, and I know Dennis will insist that I got offended by being called fat, but I already know that I'm fat, and it doesn't really bother me at all when people call me that. It's just embarrassing. I have friends, and sometimes we make jokes and like call each other fat, and that's cool. Or he called me fat, right? They're my friends, so it's cool. When other people do, it's just a really lazy attempt at trying to assassinate my character because you don't have the mental capacity to say anything intelligent. And we all already know that. That's the truth. And I'm not trying, again, like this is just what you've decided to ask for, is this weird engagement with me. The conversation we had was embarrassing, and it's very clear that you were incredibly unintelligent. You shouldn't engage in topics you don't know anything about. And you should try to engage in a little bit more of an intelligent way. I think the reality is you don't possess the capacity. That's why you make really short form content about drama. And I think that that's great. I think that people who make drama content are fun. Do your thing. I think it's great. Rich Lux, I like Rich Lux, I know it's a random thing. He's cool. He's funny. His content's crazy. It's a little out there, but it's crazy. It's drama. You don't have to be like super, you don't have to like, go into depths and be like all this, and that's totally cool, but like you're out of your element with me. I'm smarter than you. And this isn't like me trying to be, it's like, oh, I'm better. I am just smarter than you. like just from every objective measurement, I'm more intelligent than you. I'm this isn't like something that I'm saying to be cruel. This is just this is a fact. There's no way in which you have any intellectual superiority over me. You don't listen, you don't educate yourself, you don't know how to speak clearly or communicate well. You don't understand your own points that you make. Your conversation with me was embarrassing, and the fact that you think that it wasn't is why it's so embarrassing, because you just don't understand how bad it was. So, yeah. Funny fat joke, LOL. Good for you, brother. So yeah, here's how I responded. And like, I don't usually do Twitter responses. I obviously know how to do Twitter responses. This is what I say. This is after he said that I'm the reason he got clout or whatever, or he's the reason I got clout. Dennis, I know you desperately want to believe you've had any true impact on my success, but realistically you don't. I was a popular content creator before you, and I'll be an even more popular after you're gone. It's clear the fundamental difference between the two of us is that I've been able to grow and learn from my mistakes, and you seem to lack the ability to do so. Last time we interacted, you had a loyal fan base who trusted you and were willing to ride or die for you. Now they're gone because of you and because of how poorly you carried yourself in our last conversation together. At the end of the day, I would struggle to find a single person in the the community that speaks to you about you in a positive way, because you've burned so many bridges. But more and more people are saying my name with a weighted respect. No, I didn't say that weighted respect because I'm fat, but looking at it nowadays, actually a little bit funny if I didn't mean that. Yeah, that's it. What else do I really need to say? We're at a point that when we first interacted, I was fighting from below, right? Because you're a larger content creator than me, and you had more social say and more social sway than I did. And in that conversation, there's obviously areas which I could have done better, or at least in my original point. You know, I always still feel bad for making fun of that girl. I should have been much better, but I've owned that, and I've since moved on. And you haven't. You still believe that you're right. You didn't listen to anything when it came down to the conversation, which was actually about our nuanced race topic, and also weaponizing, predator, like, pedophilia and whatnot, to try to deplatform somebody who's 17. Anyway, again, you can go look into that yourself. But you just didn't want to listen. You haven't grown. You haven't learned. It's embarrassing for you. But the reality is that in that situation, I was fighting from below, and I ended up coming out on top because I was right, and I was confident in where I was correct, and where I was wrong, I admitted it. And that's where we are now. Now, I don't even have to try. I, of course, gave you an incredibly thoughtful response here, because that's just what I do. But realistically, I didn't have to. You don't have any credibility left. People don't ride or die for you anymore. People don't really care about what you have to say, because the way that you get people to engage like that with you is when you speak with authority, compassion, intelligence, humility, etc. And I know that I'm being a little inflated in this video. I don't normally sit here and talk about myself this way, in a way that I'm better than other people, because I don't think I'm better than other people. But I do think I'm better than you. And that's just because of how pathetic you've been. It's really sad. It's just really sad. And I have very little patience for you as a person. Like, you're not really worth the time. Even after our conversation, I was like, you know what? I could probably still become friends with this guy. He might be a nice guy under there. Maybe we just came off the wrong foot. We might have had like a conversation, struck a couple of nerves. Things happen. Then people, after conversations or after these kind of things, it takes a while to sit in it. It sits in, it settles. It takes a while. It take months for you to like think about something you've done wrong. That's how my TikTok stuff was. It took me a while to be like, damn. It took a friend of mine pointing it out for me to be like, wow, I actually am going down a bad path. That's how it happens. But it's been quite a while now. What, 6 months? Something like that. And you haven't changed. In fact, you're doubling down on your original stance here. And you're insisting that I'm offended by the term incel or something, because like that's your only point, is that you think that you've upset me. The thing is, I know I've upset you, but it doesn't make me happy. I just don't care. It's the fact that I've upset you is valueless to me, because I never went into that trying to upset you. That was never the goal. So then I don't care that you're upset. But yeah, man, you're not somebody that's really worth associating with. Like I said, nobody in the community or in any community really respects you. I think Ethan might still have a little bit of, love for you, and that's good for him. I think Ethan's a nice guy. There's obviously areas where I criticize him and, praise him, of course. But how long until he realizes that you're not worth associating with? How long? Like, how long does it take for him to go, you know what, I don't think I'll take, because he's not going to say it publicly. He's just not going to really have you on the show. He'll talk about you. He'll talk to you privately a little bit here and there. Make you real. Think that you guys are still buddy-buddy. But what's the point where he just says, I don't think I'm going to have him on anymore. And then you just slowly fade away. And that's the sad part. You're not just going to fall off. It's going to be so slow and painful for you. And every single day, you're going to get up and you're going to put up your next video and you're going to say, man, I hope this one hits. And it's going to do a little bit less. It's going to do a little bit worse. And you're just going to go, man. Oh, man, this one's rough. Oh, man. And that's just going to be your life until slowly you've degraded down to a point where you have nothing left. And it's totally reversible. If you show some humility and chill the fuck out, stop being so toxic and rude, stop showing people that you don't really care about anything you talk about. You know, oh, you shouldn't body shame people, but then what are you doing body shame people? And I know you're going to say that you think that means that I care, but I don't. I'm just saying that your moral values are you're very easily deconstructed. I know I've been rambling a little bit. Let me just leave you off with this. There's two things that will happen from this point on, or two possible options. Possible option number one, you'll listen and better yourself, improve yourself, and slowly you'll regain some credibility and you'll have a nice long career. You know, at this point, the only way you probably generate your credibility, whether you want to believe this or not, is to have a conversation with me where it's a redeemable for you. Because while not a whole lot of people do watch me for whatever reason, this is an observation I've had for a while, not just YouTube but in TikTok. Despite the fact that I don't get a lot of views, for some reason my voice does carry in interesting ways. My community is very strong. They're very loyal. They are very intelligent. And I do mean that. And they listen to what I have to say. And a lot of them, even when they disagree with me, they still appreciate it when I talk about stuff, because I don't try to push them away. And so that carries. There's a reason why I'm talking to very larger content creators and having conversations and whatnot, because my voice carries, even if it's not a whole lot of views. I still have a lot of respect from a lot of people. And that means a lot to me. It means more to me than views. Of course, who doesn't want money or views, of course, but the respect that I have, that I'm trying to really develop, is more important to me, and I've been making really a lot of efforts to do that. Option number two, of course, is that you don't listen to me. You probably just melt down on Twitter, or maybe you make a video, call me an incel again. It doesn't really matter. And then you're just gonna not exist anymore slowly as you fade into irrelevance. Or you can just say incredibly inflammatory. Maybe option number three, you say insane, incredible, inflammatory stuff, and you just basically become a worse Keemstar. Because isn't it sad that even still, more people like Keemstar than you? Doesn't that make you sad? Even though Keemstar's kind of a lol cow meme, people still actually like that guy, and they don't like you. There's nothing somehow there's nothing redeemable about you. There's nothing. So sorry if this was too mean, but I've lost a tremendous amount of respect for you, especially since you've decided to openly admit that the conversation we had, you came in there for an epic nay dunk, and you didn't actually care about anything you said. But I guess I already knew that, or at least my wife did. So here's the moral of the story. I guess you should start listening to women more. At least listen to my wife, because she seems to be right more than me. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and another special shout out to all my Patreon and Twitch subs. If you'd like to support this channel further than you already have by just watching the video alone, go down to the links below where you can sub on my Patreon, which will allow you to get your name on this beautiful black wall. Or you can go to the Twitch page and you can actually use a free Amazon Prime sub, if you have Amazon Prime, to subscribe. Thank you very much, guys. Take care.